Um, I every time I see her or talk to her, I start getting all emotional. She's an amazing human. She's done a ton of stuff. She had I don't know how she developed a relationship with Usher. That's new. Uh,
I wouldn't
she
call it a
I
relationship,
don't know.
but
I'm gonna call it. You know what? Call it a relationship. Don't sell yourself short. She is a author. She is an activist. She has probably done more for our city than most folk in the last 10 years now. An amazing photographer, the winner of the inaugural Mario Smith Voice of the People Award. She just recently won another award. It's not as prestigious, but it's a Gordon Parks Award. She's something, man. I am forever grateful to her. Just a big, huge fan. And she reps Inglewood better than anybody I know. Ladies and gentlemen, Tonika Tony Johnson is on the show. What's up, boss?
hi. Can you hear me okay? I
Y-
got a little mic, so
You're
I don't know if it's
you're all good. I can hear you just
okay.
fine. I can hear you just fine.
Perfect.
So I would ask what's been going on, but I'm not gonna. You tell me. How are you? How you been?
I'm great. Couldn't be better.
You are
Divine.
yes, you are amazingly first of all, thank you for being able to be on the show and to find some time. I really appreciate that. And
Well, anything for you, friend.
yeah, well, that's what they said first. um I have I have said to folks when they ask me about Chicago, when I'm asked from people who aren't from here, who are the people in the city that kind of keep the thing going, right? And I immediately think of you and Dilla. And I think of you. I always
Oh,
think of you first because what you've done in a very short order is you've changed the way some people in our city view the city. When you started Folded Map, and I'm definitely going to talk about the book. The book, by the way, is called Don't Go Stories of Segregation and How to Disrupt It. I believe this will connect with that. When you started Folded Map, and I remember you came on this show when you were first doing it, did you have
yes.
any idea that it would turn into what it has turned into?
Oh, heavens no. I had no idea. I I had an inkling of a hint that it might strike a chord with a certain sector, and that was like the urban planning sector, because in 2017 and 16, when I was like working on the project, just playing around with it in my mind, trying to lay it out conceptually, this report, because I'm a nerd too, this report called Cost of Segregation Report that was published by Metropolitan Planning Council came out. And I thought it was such a revolutionary report because it talked about Chicago segregation,
Mm-hmm.
but in a way that laid out how much all of Chicagoans are paying financially by being segregated. And it was such a beautiful way to make everyone understand that we're all impacted by segregation. But when I was reading the report, I was like, now why they don't have no pictures that could show like
Right.
so that let me know. I was like, okay, I'm seeing something that experts who are literally writing a report about it and they're visualizing it with data and charts. But I was like, they don't know that they could show this with the streets.
Hmm.
So that was the only little hint I had that I'm seeing something a little different than people who even are experts in this. But beyond that, I had no idea it would resonate the way that it has, and be such a launch pad for people to explain, understand, process, uh, and feel validated in the conversation of Chicago segregation. I had no idea.
How many people do you think, or I'm sure you have the data, how many people have you connected through Folded Map?
Mm. So there, it's hard to quantify because there's the project itself. And that project had about six map twins that totaled probably like um maybe 13 people, because each household didn't have like just one or two people. But I would say through the presentations, through the screenings, through the events, I would even count the tours that Dill and I eventually did. It's been, I I would say thousands.
Yeah.
Because the only way that I know that that isn't a reach is because the contact list that I created when Folded Map was an art exhibit in 2018 at the Loyola University Museum of Art, I created a Google form for people to fill out, for people who, you know, visited the exhibit, just so I could see who's like coming to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That contact sheet that is still online. I don't even know how people finding it right now, but it's 1,000 people on that contact list.
Wow.
And that was just last year sometime.
Wow.
When I looked, and I know 500 of those people populated that list in just the time span that the exhibit was out, in those 4 months. So
yeah,
yeah,
you also took that and parlayed that in a most wonderful way to stuff with WTTW and the firsthand segregation and equity for sale.
yes.
All of these different things. And I mean, I know you a bit. I know how what time means for you. You got kid, you know, you got stuff, you got all these things. How do you find the space to, especially with, because this isn't all good news that you're delivering. How do you find the space to just not be, you know, and not be so engrossed in it, and be able to still find yourself wanting to keep creating different things?
Well, two critical things. One, I had to become self-employed. That's one. Um, I learned that immediately when the project was an art exhibit in 2018, because people were inviting me to speak about it. I was meeting people, meeting other artists. And, you know, when you're creative, anything can give you an idea. Meeting somebody who has a shared passion, talking about music, watching a movie, anything can give you an idea. So I was starting to come up with other ideas of ways to expand the project, to do other things to help people understand segregation today. And I was working full time when when the project was the exhibit. So I had to take off work to do presentations, and it was getting to a point where I was like, okay, I got to take the leap.
Yeah.
And if I take the leap, then I have to totally invest myself into doing this, and monetizing it in a way that makes me want to continue doing it. So that was the first thing. I had to become self-employed, because it was no way for me to continue to do this type of public education after my 9 to 5 and on weekends only. When it was schools that were reaching out, when it was companies who wanted me to come talk during the day. So I just knew I had to become self-employed. And then once that happened, oh, it opened up my schedule.
Oh wow.
So I was able, once I decided to become self-employed, I could fill up my day with all of the things that interest me, which was doing the presentations and the workshops, because I was doing them primarily at educational institutions, from high schools to colleges to companies. And I really enjoyed that, because I was getting to meet people in real time who were sharing with me how much they valued me creating this thing. The Black people that I would meet through those workshops and presentations was like, oh my God, thank you. I feel so validated. Like now I don't have to, I have a reference I could give people and say, this is my experience. This is what it's like. And then the white Chicagoans who I would meet that were probably a lot of them were transplants, or, they were like, thank you. I had no idea. People told me how bad Chicago was, and I never thought about the history of it in this way. So once I started enjoying that,
Right.
I was like, oh, I want to do this all the time.
Right.
I
We're,
gotta stay self-employed.
I'm learning a lesson from you yet again. We're talking with Tonika Tony Johnson. She is the one of the most incredible people you will ever meet in your life if you get lucky enough. She is the author of a book called Don't Go: Stories of Segregation and How to Disrupt It. I'm in a Don't Go neighborhood right now in Bridgeport. This was one of the first neighborhoods I was ever cognizant of that was a don't go to Bridgeport. You know what I mean? Don't go too far into the neighborhood or else. Clearly that has changed because I've been doing the show here for I think 16 years or something. There are plenty of don't go neighborhoods in Chicago. And not to take away from the impetus of the book, but have you found, even after writing this book, that there are still places in Chicago besides the aforementioned South and West sides, because they'll tell you don't go there, and that's a shame that you don't go to the South and West side. But what is that looking like now in 2025? The don't go part.
Oh, well, sadly, it's Chicago. Now that I have been able to travel outside of Chicago, even internationally, and really it's not just even through my own experience. I'm just using my travel as a way to verify that I know this is happening. And then once I figured out this was happening, I was able to connect with other people who were aware of it as well, which is Chicago is getting has a horrible reputation of being just a violent city that people shouldn't go to the city. And that is sadly a result of the 2016 presidential election year. When Obama and Trump were running, and the way that he spoke about Chicago, because this is the city that Obama, came out of politically. And so really Chicago has a bad reputation of being violent, of being, that whole term Chirac, which really came from the presidential election year, because Trump made a reference to Chicago being like Iraq. So now all of Chicago, if they travel outside, understand the reputation that Chicago has. But that reputation Chicago has been the reputation that South side of Chicago and the West side of Chicago has had the burden of carrying. So for me, I think the don't go narrative has changed in that it has expanded to just be Chicago. Unfortunately, in Chicago, the narrative is still the same, which is people literally still get told to not go to the South side or the West side. And obviously, you spoke about Bridgeport. That was a don't go neighborhood for Black people,
Right.
As was Marquette Park back in the day. And so even in the book, there are Chicagoans who are Black, who are storytellers in the book, and they mention those neighborhoods. But what's important for people to understand is that don't go narrative, the don't go neighborhoods Black people have for physical safety in a different way doesn't economically impact those neighborhoods. And so that's the difference I wanted for people to understand, that I'm talking about the don't go narrative that contributes to the economic disinvestment of Black neighborhoods. But yeah, it's crazy because now a white Chicagoan who travels can understand how a South Side Chicagoan feels, because when they go outside the city, they're going to have to defend Chicago, because people are even telling them when they find out they're from Chicago, oh my gosh, are you so scared? So in a weird way, this don't go narrative expanding to just be the entire city, I feel has the potential to unify us in a way that can make us look at our own issues and how we speak about the South and West Side different. So I'm just trying to use this weird expansion of Don't Go as an opportunity to make us stop saying it in Chicago.
Yeah. First of all, there's never enough time. I don't have enough words. I love you for real. You are one of my favorite human beings. I've known you a long time, player, long time. I do want to talk quickly about this Gordon Parks Foundation Award that you got. What is that feeling like to be in front of your peers in that way, and to be able to, you're representing your amazing neighborhood of Inglewood, you're representing your people, your family, and all that, but to get something that's a prestigious award. What were your feelings like when you got that? Oh, did I lose you? Oh no, we got ate up by the gremlins. I lost her. Rats. Tonika Toni Johnson is the author of the book. Oh, did she come back? She came back.
Yes.
There you go.
Sorry, I had to log in on my phone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. What was it like getting that Gordon Parks Award?
Oh,
Or
so
the fellowship, I mean.
The fellowship. Yeah, I was Gordon Park Foundation 2024 fellow, which means that I was one of two photographers selected that represents, the value system and the legacy of Gordon Parks. And I was the first Chicagoan that was selected because the Gordon Parks Foundation is a national foundation, and obviously, they not only celebrate the legacy of Gordon Parks, but they're really into social justice art and artists. And so they have several Gordon Park Fellows, and every year they host an annual gala, the Gordon Parks Foundation Gala, which is, oh my gosh, it is a celebrity event. And so as a fellow, I was able to go to the gala in 2024, and that let me know the impact of the Gordon Park Foundation, because that is the gala that Usher was at.
I know.
That Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats, because they're on the board of the Gordon Parks Foundation.
Oh wow.
They were at, and it was so many celebrities. Micheline, the amazing photographer, Carrie Maywings.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So that was so star-studded.
Yeah. You just remind them people next time.
And I was really...
You just remind them that you are the inaugural winner of the Mario Smith Voice of the People Award. You tell them that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Silver Room Block Party?
That's what I'm talking about. You tell them that. Let them know.
Yes. Yes, I am.
I love
Very proud of that.
I'm so glad that I was able to do that because they snuck it on me, so I had to give it to somebody else. I am so proud of you. Proud is not even the right word. I am amazed, continually amazed at the things that you are doing. I hope nothing but the best for you always. The book, Don't Go, Stories of Segregation and How to Disrupt It, co-written by Toni Johnson and Maria Creason.
Thank you for kind of asking.
Yes.
It's Creason, like reason. Creason, reason.
Nice. And again, the Folded Map Project is still going. You can catch her and Dilla doing tours sometimes on that amazing bus that he owns. That if you haven't been on it, you should get on that. But that bus is fun. and he is on his job. Be good. Stay well. How's the fam?
They're amazing.
All right. What's up with the college situation?
You know,
We should talk.
They're figuring it out.
We should talk is what you're saying. Yeah, I'm interested in hearing about that. Take care of yourself. Tell everybody in the wood I said what's happening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Peace. Tony. Tonika Lewis Johnson. Well, she's not Lewis Johnson anymore. It's Tonika Tony Johnson. Get it straight, y'all. You know what I'm saying. Big fan of hers. Wow. All right. That was we've been trying to get that to happen for months. I can't get off the screen.